So welcome back to our live coverage of the UN Climate Talks here in Cancun in Mexico. I'm delighted to have been joined by Yolanda Kakabadse, who's the president of WWF International. And Yolanda, I'm hoping you're going to give us a bit of an update on how you feel things are going here and the progress over these 2 weeks. So what do you think has been achieved so far? Where are we?
Well, in the last few minutes, I sense some new energy in the building, and that's good news. It means that people are reaching an agreement. A couple of hours ago, there was a new draft. And people, governments, negotiators have been reviewing the draft. Now they have met in plenary and good noises are coming out of there, some clapping, I think. And that means we are getting there. I haven't looked at the text yet, and I cannot comment on whether there are some loopholes and how serious they are, but I do think that at least my sense earlier this week was that after Copenhagen, governments were they were really seen as not fulfilling their obligation. They were seen as irresponsible, as having failed not only their countries but the people of the world, and that they came to Mexico with a sense of recovering their reputation. So I think that is what's going to happen, and that's what we will see at the end of the day.
So it's a very optimistic and positive turn all of a sudden after days of people saying that we might not achieve much and ambition being lower. There seems to be a feeling that actually within the constraints of our lower ambitions here, that actually we might achieve something at these talks.
I hope so, and I believe it will happen. Although I recognize that you can never predict anything in the last 3 days or 4 days. Everybody is looking gloomy, and you are always thinking that it won't happen, and it's basically that confrontation is at the highest. But that's the normal thing in the multilateral negotiations, and what we are seeing now, a few hours before the day is over, that things are coming together.
And what do you feel are the dangers now? Where could things go wrong? What's the over the coming hours? I think the countries are going to respond to this text. What could trip us up?
Well, you will always see at the end of the day some countries that go back home saying yes, but we are not able to commit. We did put our name in it, but our situation, political, financial, or whatever, is difficult, and we'll try to get away with doing the minimum. However, I do see that the level of awareness of the common citizen of the world, everywhere, in a small island, in a big country, in a landlocked or in a small mountain place, there is much more awareness that we cannot wait for implementing action to reduce the impact of climate change. It is happening. From Pakistan to Brazil drought, from Colombia's dramas of today to any other country. You ask every single decision maker in this conference what's going on in your country, and they will all admit that there is important change. So that pressure, that public pressure from the common citizen, is being seen everywhere, and that provides votes. When you take the right decision, government leaders and decision makers do react.
And there's been a lot of focus on the Mexican presidency here at these talks after Copenhagen last year, where they came in for a lot of criticism about the way they handled the process. Do you think that their efforts might mean that we kind of have a smoother ride in now in the final hours? Hopefully we won't have examples of countries coming out and saying that they weren't involved and they weren't included. Is it an important role?
I think that Copenhagen was so bad that Mexico has really invested in strategizing how to recuperate the role of the host country in such a negotiation. And they've done a fantastic job. Of course, we still have to look at the watch and hope that nothing happens at the very end. But what they have done is to avoid confrontation, to make things run smoothly, to be very inclusive, embracing every small and big representative. providing space for all governments to have a say. In that is how it should be. But in addition to that, with the charm of the Mexican people, they have made a difference.
Excellent. Well, on that positive note, Yolanda, we're going to bring our viewers some footage now, which has just come from one of the plenary halls. It was actually taken after a minute of solid applause, so you can get a sense of the positivity and optimism. And then shortly after that, we'll give you some analysis of the new text. So, Yolanda, thank you very much for joining us, and we'll leave our viewers with that footage.
Thank you. Let's hope for the best.
Thank you.